So from reclined butterfly, let's put the feet, soles feet to the mat, knees together, and then hug the knees in. And maybe just gently rock back and forth a little bit to give your lower back a little bit of a massage. And then coming to a gentle stop and taking your knees as one unit to the left, keeping your shoulders on the mat. So if that's difficult to put your knees all the way to the left, you could always cheat a little bit and take your fist or your arm and use it to prop your legs up. Sometimes a block is useful for that, but if you don't have a block, you use what you have. But keeping your shoulders on the mat, and you can either look up towards the ceiling or you can look to the right. Your arms can be in goalposts or in a T. And if you want, you can gently place your hands on your knees if that's accessible and comfortable. And just take a moment to see how your body feels, because we're going to come back to these poses at the end for a little comparison, before and after comparison. And bringing the knees as one unit back to center, and then bringing them as one unit to the right. Keeping the shoulders on the mat. Left arm in a goal post, or both arms in a goal post if you like. And you can either look up at the ceiling or look to the left. And just try to relax and feel how your body feels. You feel any tension anywhere? Just note it, be aware of it, and try to soften a little bit if you can. Breathing. And bring the knees back to center. Let's lengthen the left leg straight out in front of you on the mat and reach behind your right hamstring and straighten the leg, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And if you're good here, you can stay here, just sort of bringing your leg in a little closer to your body, keeping your leg nice and long. Or if you'd like a little more, you can guide your leg with your right hand and arm to the right and sort of prop it up where your max is. Or if you are inclined and able, keeping your shoulders on the mat, you can grab your big toe, right big toe, with your peace fingers, and then bring the leg to the right that way too. And the left arm could be in a goal post or in a half T. You can look to the left if you want. Being aware of how things feel. Trying to relax the leg if you can. And then guide the leg back up and gently lower it down. This time lengthening out the right leg straight in front and grabbing behind the left hamstring and straightening the leg up to the ceiling. You can either stay here or with your left arm or left peace fingers in the big toe, grabbing the big toe, but your shoulders on the mat. Gently guide the leg to the left, keeping your right hip grounded. So we don't want to be rolling off to the left. You can use your right hand to put a little pressure on that right hip to keep things down. Or if things are just naturally staying down, you could do a goal post. It's your call. However things feel is good. And let's guide the leg back up to center and lower the leg down. Both legs on the mat, straight out in front of you, and bringing the arms up above your head. And let's reach down with our toes and up with our arms and fingertips for a morning stretch. Feels good. And relax. And this time taking the left foot and right foot over to the left and grabbing your right forearm with your left hand. So you're making a C shape with your body, a banana shape with your body to the left. If you want a little more, you can cross the right ankle over the left, but making sure that wherever you are, your shoulders and back are on the mat and your hips are both on the mat as well. So it probably will involve, encouraging that right hip downward a little bit. And breathing into that stretch in the right side body. And back to center. And over to the right this time. So both feet over to the right. And grabbing the left forearm with the right hand and encouraging your upper body to the right. Banana shape right. And if you want, you can cross left ankle over right. And adjust as your body is feeling like it needs to. Keeping the hips grounded and the shoulders grounded. Probably feeling a really nice deep stretch in that left hip. Back to center. And hugging the knees in. And if you need to rock just a little bit back and forth to kind of roll out the lower back, go for it. And then grabbing behind your hamstrings, rolling up to a seat. And being aware of your seated posture. So nice long spine, crown of head to sky, head over top of pelvis. Very good. Let's do a seated cat-cow. So putting your hands lightly over top of your knees, rounding the spine so your spine is pushing backward, your belly is rolling in, and your chin is going towards your chest. And then rolling the belly forward, yearning the chest forward and looking up at the ceiling. And rolling back. Nice round spine, towards reaching behind you, chin tucked. And yearning belly and chest forward, probably grabbing onto your knees a little bit with your hands just to act as leverage. And one more time, rounding the spine, seated cat. And seated cow. A nice neutral spine. Let's look to the right. Inhale, past your center. Look to the left. Past your center. One more time. Right. Center. Left. Center. Let's tip the chin up, looking up at the ceiling. And chin to chest. And looking up. And chin to chest. And this time, placing your hands on the back of the head just to intensify the stretch a little bit, not too much, just a little extra pressure. And trying to breathe in and relax into that stretch in the back of your neck and probably a little bit between your shoulder blades too. And releasing, coming back to neutral. Let's cross the legs in the other direction. Even things out. Let's bring the shoulders right up to the ears. Squish it up. Oh boy, Monday tension. And drop it down. And relax. Shoulders up to ears. Squish it up. And exhale, drop it down. One more time, inhale. And exhale and release. Try to let that tension go. Let's plant the right hand beside the right hip and bring the left arm up and over, keeping the left hip planted. And then dropping the left hand down, flowing the right arm up and over. Just doing some side to side flows up with the left and over, and then float it down. Planting the left, bringing the right arm up and over. Floating it down one more time. Breathing in synchronization with your body. Let's take the left arm, bring it across your chest, and bring the right arm as a bracket to support that left arm. So right tricep is parallel and bicep is parallel to the floor, and the fingertips are pointing up. And while you're encouraging your left shoulder to go more to the left, you're encouraging your right arm more over to the right and behind you to stretch out the shoulder, creating some space between your neck and your ears. And you can look to the left if that feels nice. And then gently release. Bringing the right arm across, using the left arm as a bracket. And pulling back with the right shoulder and the left arm. Stretch things out in that right shoulder, feels good. And looking over the right shoulder, or not looking over the right shoulder, looking over in the direction of the right shoulder. It'd be a lot to look behind your right shoulder right now. And coming to neutral. Let's rotate the torso. We'll do some torso rolls. So bringing the chest forward, having your hands on your knees. And around to the side, bringing the shoulders and back behind you, almost like you're stirring the pot with your torso. Just feeling, oh my goodness, what's going on in your back and your lower back. Getting a bit of a glute massage in the process. And then slowly coming to a stop. Let's go in the opposite direction. Breathing as you go. Gently coming to a stop. And then being mindful of your posture. So again, head over pelvis, crown of the head to the sky, shoulders down and away from your ears. Let's yearn the chest forward, hinging at the hips, coming over your legs. And you can either place your hands to support you at a spot that's your max. If you're able to go further down onto your forearms, that's great. If you're able to come down a little further, rounding your spine, that's great too. And just breathing where you are. And keeping your hips planted so you're not rolling forward too much. Try to relax where you're at. And then leading with your heart and coming back up. Let's move into tabletop. And in tabletop, we're going to have our knees under our hips and our wrists under our shoulders. And then we're going to bring right shoulder and right hip together in a C shape, and we're going to look over the right shoulder. Feel a nice stretch in our left hip. Pass through center, and then C shape to the left, keeping the bringing the left shoulder and left hip together, and making sure our arms are nice and strong. Passing through center. C shape right. Passing through center. C shape left. One more time. Inhale, pass through center. Exhale as we go, C shape right. Inhale, pass through center. Exhale, C shape left, making sure we're strong in our chest and our hands. Coming back to tabletop. From here, let's lift our right hand up to the sky and then bringing it down, resting the shoulder on the mat and bringing the palm of the right hand facing the sky and the arm across the chest.
And then if it feels comfortable, reaching the left arm straight forward. And while we're hanging out in thread the needle, there's a couple of adjustments and checks we need to do. We need to look and see our hips right over our knees. If we're sort of leaning forward, we need to hike it back a little bit. We can lift up our head, pick it up, move it more towards the top of the mat, and then gently put it down to make sure there's no compression in our neck. And then if we want to, for fun, we can take the left arm and wrap it behind, placing the back of the right palm on the, back of the left palm on the right hip, taking the bind. And breathe. Try to relax. It does sound a little bit funny. Go into this sort of pretzel of a position and then try to relax. Persisting through challenge. And if you took the bind, unleash the arm and place the left palm on the mat and push back up into tabletop. And this time taking the left hand, lifting the arm way up, fingertips to sky, and then bringing it back down across our chest, lowering onto the left shoulder, left palm to sky, and then bringing, if you like, the right arm straight out in front. Let's check the alignment of our hips, hips over knees. Lift up the head, bring it forward a little bit to lengthen the neck. And you can hang out here if you want, or if you want to take the bind with the right arm, you can do that. And try to relax into the floor, melt into the floor, melt into thread the needle. And then if you took the bind, unwinding and placing the hand on the mat and lifting yourself back up into tabletop. From here, we'll go into Mandukasana. So placing the knees mat width apart and the shins on top of the edges of the mat as well. So knees and shins are aligned with the sides of the mat. Keeping your hips in line with the knees. So imagining like they're one triangle essentially between your knees and your hips, pelvis. And then walking the hands forward towards the top of the mat. And you can either keep your head between your biceps for a more active pose, or you can lower it down, going onto your forearms. Maybe doing a little scan of your body to see where you're gripping a little bit, and can you relax in that spot a bit. From here, let's slide forward onto our belly, forehead to the mat, hands underneath shoulders, tops of the feet in contact with the mat, pelvis in contact with the mat. And then with the strength of your back, lifting up into Cobra. So your hands are mostly there for just light support. You're not pushing up with your hands. You're holding yourself up with your back. And you're looking slightly forward, but not too much. So we don't want to crick our neck in this pose. And breathe. And then gently lower it down. And pushing back up into tabletop. Let's take the right foot and bring it out to the side, but bringing it out to the side with the toes pointing away from the mat and foot planted. So your foot's basically at a 90-degree angle to your mat, the edge of your mat. And it's a little bit further out from your mat, so it's not right along your mat, it's a little bit further away. And then, taking your right heel of your right hand and placing it in the center of your inner right thigh. Sort of towards the lower half of your central right thigh. And pushing into it. So this is going to create a lovely, or it should create a lovely inner thigh stretch. Breathing as you're pushing into the leg. And back to tabletop. And then taking the left foot this time, placing the toes at a 90-degree angle. Your heel is towards your edge of your mat and your toes are pointing away from the edge of the mat. And your heel of the left foot will be roughly in line with your right mid-calf point. Then picking up the left hand, placing the heel of the left hand in the lower middle half of the inner thigh and pushing in towards the thigh, pushing back towards the back of the mat, getting a nice stretch in the inner thigh. We don't often stretch like this, so it's kind of an interesting feeling. Breathe. And coming back to tabletop. And since we're on the topic of kind of stretching and decompressing the tension in our body, let's lift up our right knee and place the top of the right shin, the top center of the right shin, on the top of your left calf muscle. And we're going to perform some gentle calf compressions. And we can do this in a couple of ways, depending on how it feels for you. You can either take that right shin and kind of gently push it into your left calf muscle at the top. And you can sort of pulsate it if you want, or you can just apply gentle, consistent pressure. Not too hard, right? We don't want to jam our shin into our calf. We can gently rock it back and forth if you want. We're just kind of giving the calf muscle a massage, and then you can slowly lower the shin down a little further towards your ankle on the left calf, and further down, working on any tension you find there. If you're anything like me, there's a lot of tension there. And then down. And if you want, you can start at the top and gently compress down, giving yourself a little massage, working out some tension. And then back to tabletop. Doing the same on the other side. So picking up the left shin this time, placing the middle left shin on the top of the calf muscle on the right, and either gently sort of working in circles or applying gentle pressure, starting at the top and working your way down the right calf muscle. Boy, there's lots of things going on down there. We'll start at the top again. When you're ready, just work your way down. And when you're done, coming back into tabletop, and we'll do a wrist stretch by shifting the weight into the the left palm, and picking up the right hand, placing the back of the right hand on the mat with your fingers pointing towards your body. Most of the weight should be in your left. Gentle pressure on the right. Stretching the back of your right wrist. Or I guess it's the front of your right wrist, isn't it? Yeah. And then picking up the right hand and placing it back down. Shifting the weight into the right this time, placing the back of the left hand on the mat. So your palm is facing up and your fingers are facing towards your body. And breathing into the stretch in your wrist. And then flipping the palm back up to tabletop. Let's do some standing poses now. So we'll bring the right foot in front, in between our hands, and then lifting our torso up, lifting our fingertips to sky, moving into crescent lunge. Feeling nice and stable in the front foot. And let's float the elbows down, opening up across the chest to angel wings. Inhale, lifting fingertips to sky. Exhale down to angel wings, opening up across the chest. Engaging the shoulder blades. Lifting up one more time. And back down to angel wings. Let's use the hands to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee into low lunge. And then making sure you feel stable in your feet and coming up to a high lunge. You can bring fingertips to sky if you like. And then hopping the back foot forward just a little bit so it's pointing 45 degrees off to the side, but it's flat on the mat. Squaring the hips to the front of the mat, lifting hands into a high prayer, putting front knee over front heel, making sure you can see front big toe, shifting your knee off to the right if you can't, and we're in warrior one. Creating space between your shoulders and your ears. Bringing the hands to heart center as you adjust your feet to warrior two. So pivoting the back foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Your front foot still pointing forward, but the front heel is in line with back arch. Keeping front knee over front heel, arms out in the T, shoulders down. Looking over your right fingertips. Looking at your right big toe. If you can't see it, move the knee over more to the right. From here, let's straighten the front leg, keeping the arms in a T. We're going to reach our torso over to the right, windmill the arms, so either your right hand is on your right leg to keep yourself stable, with your left fingertips to sky. Or if you're able to come down a little bit more with your right hand, or if you can bring your right hand to the mat, that's cool too. But rotating your chest more towards the ceiling, in the direction of the ceiling, so it's not facing the floor, if you can. Imagine yourself between two panes of glass. And then if you want to take the bind, you bring the left arm behind you with the left back of the hand to the right hip. And you can either look straight out to the side, if that feels better. You can look straight down if that helps with stability, or you can look up. If you took the bind, unravel, hand to sky, fingertips to sky, and back up to warrior two. Front knee over front heel, arms in a T. And then straightening the front leg, dropping the back arm, bringing the right arm up and over for reverse triangle, looking up to the ceiling. Back into warrior two, bend the knee over the heel. And then hands to heart center, pivot the feet so that they're parallel to one another and parallel to the top and bottom of edges of the mat. And then bringing the arms up into high prayer for star pose. Shoulders away from the ears as best you can while keeping the arms straight. It's not easy. And then bringing the hands to heart center and stepping the feet together and standing near a wall. We're going to do some tree pose because tree pose is fun. Good to test our balance. Once you're near a wall, you have your fingertips, left fingertips on the wall, or right, doesn't really matter, your fingertips on the wall. Shifting your weight into the left foot, making sure you can pick up your left toes and drop them, spread them out and drop them. That helps with stability. Let's take the right heel, and you can either start by placing the right heel just above the ankle with keeping the balls of the toes on the mat, or you can inch the foot, the sole of the foot up the wall. You can bring it as high up as you'd like, and you are able to, avoiding the knee. And when you're ready, you can find a focal point and bring hands to heart center. Strong, firm contact between your foot and your thigh. Crown to the sky. You can also open up your arms to full tree. And with control, lower the hands to heart center and lower the foot to the ground. And then step it back into star. We'll do the other side of the tree on the other side of the standing poses. Tilting your pelvis forward a little bit. And then pivoting the front foot forward and then coming down to a low lunge. Hands framing the front foot and back to tabletop. Now we're going to do the other side. So bringing the left foot forward this time in between the hands, and coming up with the torso, bringing the fingertips to sky, palms facing one another, imagining you're being lifted up by your underarms. Crescent lunge. And then if you want, you can bring your hands together, clasp them behind your butt, your back. Straight, strong arms opening up across the collarbones. Bringing your shoulder blades a little bit together. And then bringing hands up again, fingertips to sky, palms facing one another. Lowering the hands to frame the front foot, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee. Low lunge. And feeling stable in your feet, bringing your torso up, coming to a high lunge. Hands in a high prayer. Bringing hands to heart center, hopping that right foot forward just a little so it's 45 degrees to the side but flat on the mat. Squaring hips to the front of the mat. Right knee over right heel. Hands to high prayer. Shoulders down. Warrior one. Hands to heart center as you adjust to warrior two, pivoting right foot aligned to the back of the mat. Front heel in line with front arch, or back arch rather. Front knee over heel. And arms in a T, looking over left fingertips, making sure you can see left big toe. Checking your alignment. And then straightening the front leg, leaning your shoulder, your torso over the front leg, windmilling the hands so that right fingertips are to the sky and left hand is either on the leg, further down the leg, or on the mat. And rolling your right shoulder back. Looking down at the floor for stability. In the middle for straight up to the side for a sort of medium challenge, and then up to the ceiling for a bigger challenge to your balance. And if you want, you can take the bind on this side too by wrapping right arm behind the back, top of the hand in contact with left hip. And if you took the bind, releasing fingertips to sky, Coming back up to warrior two, bending that front knee over heel, shoulders down. Straightening the front leg again, but this time dropping the back arm and raising the front arm up and over. Back to warrior two. And then pivoting left foot to be parallel to right foot and edges of mat. Arms up to high prayer, hands up to high prayer for a star, tilting that pelvis forward. Hands to heart center. Let's step it together and do tree on the other side. So coming close to a wall for stability if you'd like. Placing, shifting the weight into the right foot, spreading the toes, lifting them up, placing them back down, feeling stable in the right foot. And then bringing the left foot somewhere along your inner right leg, avoiding the knee. Making sure that point of contact is nice and solid. Crown of the head to the sky, abs engaged. Looking at a non-moving focal point. And if you like, you can release the wall, hands to heart center. Or hands to full tree. And then releasing, gently with control. Let's go back into star. And then pivoting the front foot so toes are pointing forward, framing the front foot with your hands low lunge. And back to tabletop. And if you want, after standing poses, let's take a little child's pose. Knees open, mat width apart, sitting back on your heels, your feet and toes are together, and then arms straight out in front. I'm giving a little bit of a rest. Just because we persist through challenges doesn't mean we can't take a rest now and again. And when you're ready, coming back up to tabletop, bringing the hands forward just a little bit, walking forward towards the top of your mat, bringing the right knee towards the right wrist, laying the left leg nice and long and strong behind you, placing your center of your pelvis in the center of your body, so being balanced between your hips. You probably need to tense your fingertips a little bit and look up, opening up across the chest to pigeon. And from here, coming down over your legs, either by placing your hands on the mat, your forearms on the mat, or coming all the way down or further down as feels good. And trying to relax in your hips. Making sure you're centered in your pelvis, you're not rolling off to the right. Try to relax your body, your face and your arms and your hips and the whole shebang. Couple more breaths here. And then walking your hands back up. And pushing back to tabletop. Let's walk the hands forward again just a little bit, bringing left knee to left wrist this time. Laying the right leg straight back behind you, coming up onto your fingertips. Staying centered in your pelvis, reaching your chest upward, looking up towards the sky. And then exhaling and coming down onto your hands, your forearms, or all the way down. Keeping your balance in your pelvis nice and centered. relaxing your body. If you're able to go a little deeper and you feel like that's accessible, you could give that a try. And if not, maybe you feel like it's a little much, and so you back off, and that's okay too. Just breathing, deep breathing where you're at. And coming back up onto your hands. And coming onto a seat, we'll keep the left leg placed on the mat with the left shin parallel to the top of your mat. And let's place the right shin directly on top for fire log pose. So right foot, ankle is over top of left knee and vice versa. And you can stay here, being mindful of your posture, so nice long spine, crown of head to sky, shoulders down. And maybe this is good, and that's cool if this is good. Or if you want to hinge at the hips, leading with your heart, coming onto your hands over your legs, coming down to your forearms over your legs, or a little bit more if that's accessible. And trying to breathe through the sensation in your hips, not ignoring any pain, of course. Back off if there's pain, but if there's pleasant challenge and we want to kind of go with that and breathe through it. Try to relax your head and neck. Leading with your heart, coming back up. You can place your hands at heart center and then bringing your right elbow and placing it on your sole of your right foot, lengthening through your spine and looking over your left shoulder with a bit of a twist, fire log twist. And if this is too much for you, if you'd rather just place your hands on the mat to the left and look, that's great too. And coming back to center. Let's place the right shin on the bottom this time, parallel to the front of the mat, left shin over top. So this time it's left heel on right knee and vice versa. And you can enjoy how you're feeling in this position, breathing through the feeling in your outer thighs, crown of the head to the sky. And if you're so inclined, you can hinge at the hips and lead with your heart, coming onto your hands, over your legs, coming onto your forearms over your legs if that's available, or further down if that's a possibility. Keeping your feet flexed. We want to keep those feet nice and flexed in this pose. Leading with your heart, coming back up with the help of your hands. And placing your hands at heart center, you can put your left elbow on your left sole, and then using it as leverage, looking over your right shoulder. Or again, if that's a little much, you just place your hands, both hands to the right, and look over your right shoulder. Maybe you tense your fingertips a little bit. Just lengthening your spine. Breathing. Coming back to center. Let's take the left shin and leave it as it is, parallel to the front of the mat. And we'll take the, did I say left? I meant right. Right shin, keep it parallel to the top. Take our left thigh, make it parallel to the top. And then place the left shin at a 90-degree angle. We're going to move into deer pose. Nice and long through the spine, crown of the head to the sky, chest lifted. And then coming over the front leg, either onto the hands, onto the forearms, or further down. Try to relax your face and your body here. Just be aware of any gripping. If you can release any gripping, try to do that. Leading with your heart, coming back up to the other side. So left shin parallel to the top of the mat, right thigh parallel to the top of the mat, the calf alongside at a 90-degree angle parallel to the side of the mat. Nice and long in the spine, crown of head to sky on the inhale, and then exhaling and coming over the hands, coming over the leg, onto your hands, onto your forearms, or further down. And breathing. And try to relax. Relax your hands if they're gripping. Relax your face if it's gripping. And then leading with your heart and coming back up. Let's bring the feet forward and flat on the mat, about hip width apart, placing the wrists and palms of the hands underneath your shoulders, fingertips pointing towards the top of the mat, and lifting up with the hips, either looking a little bit back, relaxing your head back, or looking forward. That makes your neck feel better. Keeping those hips nice and lifted. Reverse tabletop is good for the glutes, good for the core. Coming back down. And then coming back down into reclined pose with the knees pointing to the sky and the feet flat on the mat. And just for fun, because you know, it's nice to have a little fun. Not that yoga's not fun, of course it's fun, but just for a little experiment for science. Let's do a little comparison as to how our body felt when we started versus how it feels now. We're going to do the same poses that we used to open up and see how we feel. So bringing the knees in towards our body, hugging them in. Rocking back and forth a little bit, seeing how it feels. And then gently bringing the legs as one unit to the left. Keeping the shoulders on the mat. Bringing the hands to goalpost or T. Or placing the the left hand on the left knee. And see how you feel. Do you feel any different than when you started? It's good information to have. And legs together as one unit. Hug them in. And then bring them as one unit to the right. Keeping shoulders on the mat. You can anchor the knees with your right hand if that helps you. Or you can prop them up off the floor a little bit with your right hand if that helps you. Is this pose a little easier or harder than it was at the beginning? Do you feel a little more relaxed now? Let's bring the legs to center, help them up, bring them to center. Lengthen the left leg straight out on the mat in front of you. Grab behind the right hamstring and extend the leg to the sky. Right leg long, foot flexed. And then if you wish to, you can take the leg with your arm, support from your arm to the right, or if you can keep the shoulders on the ground on the mat either way,
You can reach up with your peace fingers for your toe and bring it off to the side that way, keeping the left hip grounded. And just see how it feels this time versus the beginning. Back to center. Other side now, so right leg nice and long, straight in front, left leg grabbing behind the hamstring, lengthening the leg, foot as if our feet are on the ceiling. Nice and flexed. And then, if you wish, gently guiding that leg to the left, keeping right hip grounded. And seeing how you feel. And with control, bringing it back up to center. And bringing it down. You know, we're going to take a little pass on the banana position, and we're going to move straight into Shavasana. So in Shavasana, we're going to place our hands, palms to sky, arms a little bit away from our body. Feet slightly apart and off to the side. Relaxing our face, relaxing our jaw, bringing the shoulders down and away from the ears, tucking the chin slightly so the neck is nice and long. Relaxing down our torso and our glutes in contact with the mat. Being mindful of our legs, aware of the feelings in our legs, and all the way down to our feet. And maybe there were parts of today's practice that were challenging for you, which is wonderful. Hopefully pleasantly challenging. That's what we're going for. And if there were points that were challenging for you, it's a fabulous reminder that you can persist through challenges. And you hopefully come out on the other side a better person, feeling better, knowing that you've done it. That lovely saying of you can do hard things. It's true. And with that, let's gently wiggle our fingers and toes. Place our feet flat on the mat. Rolling over to one side using our arm as a pillow. And then pushing up into an easy seat.